Oh, hi, Frank. Good morning.
Oh, yeah, I just happened to be here. Good morning, Stephanie.
Calling from my favorite cactus nursery in Tucson. Hi.
Yep, the cacti are doing well here in Tucson this morning.
So what do you make of what Roger Stone said? I mean, it's hard to tell what's happening here. I know you had talked about this on TV that, we should watch everywhere state capitals because, you're hearing all kinds of chatter, right? About, people saying don't go. Other of these right-wing groups are going. What are your thoughts about this Saturday?
So, as is often the case when you're in the intelligence business, intelligence changes. You get varying data over time. And so, if you had asked me this question a couple of weeks ago, I'd say, hey, we got to really watch this one because they seem to be really upset about the new vaccine mandates by Biden and all of that, and they're coming. And then some of the leadership put out messages to the rank and file. Let's not go. It's going to be a false flag. It's all a trap. We're all going to get arrested. I think largely here what we're talking about is we may hear the sound of crickets on Saturday and that's a good thing because I see Saturday as so much bigger than Saturday. I see it as almost a litmus test. Has security been able to beef up and handle a crowd at the rally? Has there been an impact and a chilling effect on violence because of 600 arrests in the January 6th insurrection? Are politicians, mainstream politicians, largely going to stay away from the podium on Saturday because they're distancing themselves from the nonsense and the big lie?
Because they're under investigation for the first insurrection, perhaps? Yeah.
Yeah. Please don't make incriminating statements.
They don't want to get arrested at Insurrection 2 Electric Boogaloo? Is that?
So now I think the significance of Saturday is all of that. What it says about our future, what it says about people distancing, what it says about the chilling effect of 600 arrests, all of that's really good. And Capitol Police, having conflicting intelligence, are erring on the side of caution. That's why the fence is going back up. But ultimately, we could see a crowd size that's smaller than Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's testicle.
He went there, ladies and gentlemen. Frank Figliuzzi did not see a Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's ball joke coming from Frank Figliuzzi. Did not. Okay. So... yeah, I mean, one Proud Boys leader is encouraging people to show up. Others have discouraged attendance. So, saying it's a trap, just like what Roger Stone said. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. Let's skip to cut 11, Roger Stone, real quick.
If there's a single armed protester there, they'll be working for the federal government. This is so obvious. Who would go there armed? Folks, I'm appealing to you. Stay away, stay safe, stay in your homes.
Okay. Well, because guns are illegal, right, in D.C., so...
This public safety message brought to you by Roger Stone.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Like, for instance, the former Trump campaign aide who's organizing this Justice for J6, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Insurrection 2 Electric Boogaloo, announced that attendees should not wear clothing or carrying signs showing their support for Trump. He said, we request that anybody attending our events not wear any clothing or signs supportive of either Trump or Biden. Oh, yeah, because there's a lot of Biden supporters that were planning on going to what does that mean? Because
Right. So I think there's been some behind the scenes messaging here from the Trump orbit to this guy, Brainerd, who runs a Look Ahead, this organization, saying, look, if this is going to get ugly and we're going to be supporting people who are criminals arrested for January 6th, how about not associating it with us, please? We don't need any more of this. And I think that's what it is. He wants to try to get closer to the Trump orbit, and doing that requires distancing for a wacko cause with Trump overtly. That's what's going on here. I have to tell you what I'm far more concerned about now is the more remote locations. When you watch the Proud Boys chat, for example, they use the phrase "going local." Let's go local. Let's stay away from DC. And there's alternate dates set up, Stephanie. We now have easily a dozen rallies planned for September 25th, the next weekend. And that's where I get worried about the stress that's going to get put on local, county, and state law enforcement when they have to deal with that. We see the Proud Boys almost every weekend, particularly on the West Coast, engaging in some kind of violent interaction in cities like Olympia, Washington, Portland, Seattle. that kind of stuff could be coming to a neighborhood near you. That's the greater concern right now.
Yeah. I don't know if you were noticing during all that, the law enforcement techniques that we were enforcing here in the studio. I made Travis get the spray bottle of water to stop my dog from barking. Will that work against Proud Boys? If you just go, and spray water? Does that, no?
They will still bark, but they don't like anything with water. They shower about once a month, and anything in between.
They're like gremlins. Don't get them wet or feed them after midnight.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Frank. Now we just talked about off air about the this disgusting the Nasser investigation or lack thereof, and these brave female gymnasts that were testifying yesterday. You just tweeted, long overdue. FBI fires Michael Langman, lead agent on the failed Nasser investigation. Chris was saying he heard someone talking about that FBI agents don't like to
take sexual abuse cases because, quote, that's not what they signed up for.
Then why are they in the FBI? Is there some carve out for little girls that you don't need to protect little girls? Sorry, did I miss that?
So first, let me say what should be obvious. I was sick to my stomach watching the testimony yesterday. I almost couldn't continue to watch it, but it was riveting, compelling, and brave stuff. Impressive young women telling their stories, telling the truth. Now, I have to say, as Chris Wray said, who, by the way, was not the director when this debacle happened.
Yeah.
Comey was. But as he said, this is not the daily activity of how the FBI works. It's not. This is an aberration. And here's what's most disturbing. I'm always about, hey, maybe there's incompetence. There's more than incompetence going on with that Indianapolis response. Here's what's happening. The SAC, the special agent in charge of that office, was negotiating for a job in retirement with the U.S. Olympic Committee. He failed to disclose that. Right? There are rules for this. If you're a senior executive, I had to do this when my retirement was coming up, and I was talking to companies about corporate security jobs. Guess what? I had to tell the ethics officer, I'm talking to these companies. I have to recuse myself from anything to do with them. He never did it. Worse, he lied about it, as did the agent who was fired, to Inspector General investigators. They've got to be prosecuted. And conspicuously absent from the hearing yesterday was DOJ explaining why they declined prosecution of these two guys.
Well, and further, since we've brought up Chris Wray, I said that he wasn't there when this started, the investigation, but Sad Truth on Twitter tweets, Chris Wray said his FBI will thoroughly investigate any allegations of sexual assault. Cool. Let's start with the 4,500 Kavanaugh tips that he ignored. I agree with Senator Whitehouse. We need a real FBI investigation of someone with a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. What is your take on that and on Chris Wray?
Here's where I kind of get sideways with Senator Whitehouse, and then I'll tell you also where I agree with him. So first, there's the nefarious. Bass continually wants to paint this with a nefarious brush, and I, from somebody who's been inside the organization for 25 years, I can tell you these background investigations, and particularly a reinvestigation of a background, which is what Kavanaugh was, right? He had been investigated umpteen times as a federal judge. The parameters of those are controlled by the requester, in this case, the White House. It is a bizarre MOU. It should be changed. I've told White House's office this personally. Change the goddamn MOU and stop complaining about it. Yeah. Right? But it's the only thing the FBI does where they have a client that's not the American people. Okay. Now, there is nothing stopping. We have a new White House now. So if there's 4,000 leads sitting somewhere, and I question whether there's really 4,000 valid tips, but if they're sitting there, why can't the current White House or the Congress say, reopen these investigations? If you were handcuffed by the previous White House, the handcuffs are off. Get to the bottom of these leaks.
Yes, it is clear the tip line was a garbage can in the White House. Like, oh yeah, let the tip. Yeah, here's the tip. It was a dumpster.
Just so you know, my sources confirmed that all of those tips went to the Senate. So they cannot plead ignorance on this. They have them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so let's go on this. For a lifetime appointment. Very important. Okay. So speaking of investigations, on January 6th, you said on the Capitol Police disciplining 6 officers for conduct related to January 6th. You said more facts, please. Breaking on a Saturday on the anniversary of 9/11. You also said, hundreds of law enforcement officials were prepped early for potential January 6th violence. You also tweeted the January 6th investigation getting interesting. FBI seizes Oath Keeper's lawyer's phone in seditious conspiracy. I mean, there is so much that we still have to uncover about January 6th, including this Capitol cop who may have revealed the lawmaker's location. And this is what AOC said when everybody mocked her. She said, why do you think I didn't want to go to the secure location? She in particular sensed a vibe from and from this whatever Capitol policeman who his friend. So let me just go through what happened. His friend basically called the FBI on him. The allegation stems from a conversation the officer had with a friend the week after the riot in which he allegedly revealed information about the secure location he helped evacuate lawmakers to during the riot. The friend called the FBI tip line to report the conversation, expressed concerns the agent subscribed to Trump's election conspiracy theories. What do you know about this, Frank?
Well, that's just recently breaking. What really got my attention and should get everybody's attention, and I know your listeners are savvy enough to know this. When you see a press release come out on a Saturday, particularly a weekend where we're marking the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and you should go, somebody doesn't want us to really pay attention. Yeah. What did and who released the press release about the Capitol police officers facing discipline? The Department of Justice, not the Capitol Police. So what's going on here is Capitol Police have done this inquiry of 30 some odd officers regarding their conduct in and around January 6th. The good news is they only see 6 officers that merit discipline. But here's the bad news. If you merit discipline because of your conduct in and around January 6th, which by the way was an insurrection, why is it you're not getting fired? What is it that you did that is so de minimis that you really don't deserve to get fired? It was a goddamn insurrection. If you engaged in misconduct, I don't care if you posed for photos with the protesters or you, as you just said, disclose the secret location, that the safe hard room you bring Congress members to. You need to get fired to send a message that we can't have you doing anything inappropriate. Why did DOJ release this information and not Capitol Police? Because they're going to have to disclose this in discovery in all of the prosecutions of the knuckleheads that got into the Capitol. And the knuckleheads are going to say, hey, the police let me in. And you're going to have to disclose the files that go, you're right. Some cops did let you in. Yeah. All of that needs to be transparent. And those officers should be should be.
Well, we saw some of that video of them like, just taking the barricade down. Yeah, come on in. I mean, okay, so a lot we don't know yet. You tweeted just of the Woodward book, Trump could go rogue. Milley took top secret action to protect nuclear weapons. You just tweeted, my God. When a former FBI agent says, my God, it is terrifying even for someone like you, how close we came to all of it.
I cannot believe that we had a president at the time, and let's see, this is January 6th, 7th, that Milley's calling China. He's calling his people into the war room. So for about 2 weeks, we had a president who many feared could launch a military strike as some kind of diversion in an attempt to overthrow the election. Okay. People now are jumping all over Milley saying, oh my God, he violated all kind of protocols. He's got to step down.
Yeah.
I don't see that argument. I think what he said was, look, I've got to be a part of this chain. If tactical maneuvers are ordered, he can't trust all those generals and admirals in the room. He doesn't know who's back channel. The SecDef can't be trusted at the time. They're all Trump people. The cabinet is all Trump. They can't invoke 25th Amendment. They won't do it. He's got to do what he's got to do. He talks to foreign counterparts all the time. He was reassuring them. I don't see it except as a good thing. Now, I want to tell you something. I am not a fan of General Milley. I think he should have stepped down after Lafayette Square when he walked the president over to the church.
Yeah.
I don't like the guy. I don't like him. And I think he should have stood up at that time and said, we've got a president.
Would have been helpful in the second impeachment, so we could have prevented. Yes,
I'm worried about the nuclear launch codes. He should have come out and said that. I don't care for the way he handled it, but I don't think he should be court-martialed.
Yeah, and he clearly has bigger balls than Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend. Okay, I just had to get one in because you got
Twitter,
one in.
Twitter is all a Twitter about what Frank said about Nicki Minaj's.
Frank made a ball joke. Okay, all right. We love you, Frank Figliuzzi. Come back more often. Nicole Wallace just can't hog you all the time.
I'll see you later.
All right, thanks,
Thanks,
Frank.
Frank.
All right, there he goes.